Bye, sweet baby James. I'm getting a gut. Getting it's already arrived.
I was in Nashville with Chet Flippo last week.
For who?
Chet Flippo, he's a writer in Nashville.
Oh.
Took me to Jack's Barbecue.
Yeah.
You talking about a gut?
Oh.
I ate there 3 times in 3 days. Because I live in LA and you can't get barbecue.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Right?
They got the South's got great food, man.
Tennessee is great food.
Of course, they got great food in New York too, but
Great food.
it's different.
All right, we're rolling. Does this feel like a reunion to you?
It feels like a reunion. It really does. I see guys that I haven't seen. My word, 25 years. When was I say that's what's this? What is this month?
2008.
Just 2008. Wow. Let's see. That would be 38 years, 40 years ago. Yeah, my God, I was just barely out of diapers when I was doing them sessions.
What memories does it evoke when you see someone enter the room like today? Do you remember the session?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, who did you see today that brought back an image of a studio, and what were you doing?
Oh, Hal Blaine was the first guy. But as an artist, wow. I can't think of names now. Oh boy, the older I get, the more I think I don't know.
Yeah, Michelle Phillips was telling me a fun story about your work with the Mamas and the Papas.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Tell me about that. How did that come together?
Oh, I was doing something in the studio. I used the same studio as they did, and I don't remember playing with them. Maybe I was doing an overdub or something. But I tell you, Mama Cass and them were just wow. I think they was the best group of their era, definitely.
Do you feel like the studio musician is starting to get recognized? This film,
Yeah.
the film about the Funk Brothers that came out a couple of years ago, that's important, isn't it?
Well, it is. I don't think the guys that produced, not produced, but the guys that played on all these records, they're the ones that got because they were scabbing then and they were, not doing union dates. But that's I'll give the musicians union credit for really they did a great job.
Well, your perspective's so unique because you went on and had all this frontal stardom, and they sat doing their gigs in the background. They never got the press or the adulation from there. They got internal adulation. So did you always maintain an affection for these guys? Did you keep track with them?
Oh yeah, because some of them I hadn't seen for 30 years. But, oh yes, definitely. Well, Hal Blaine, he was a guy that I probably did more sessions with than anybody, because Hal did more sessions than any drummer. Earl Palmer was another guy. Earl, God love him, that's amazing. But for me to get to go out there and play with the best musicians in the world, coming in from Arkansas on a bus and getting out to L.A.
That's the classic story, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is something. And then I went from there for the reason how I got I don't think I've ever talked about this much. People, how did I get my start? By doing demos for a publishing company. Jimmy Bowen and I, Jimmy was a great producer. And he went on to produce all the guys out of Nashville, like George Strait and who else. But Jimmy and I, we'd make demos. And they would say, who's playing guitar? No, it's a music company. Oh my gosh. Anyway, who's playing guitar? Glen Campbell. Who's singing? Glen Campbell. Who's playing bass? Glen Campbell. Because Jimmy and I just ping-ponged. We only had 2 tracks in. We'd ping-pong, and that's how I got into the recording end of it. In fact, at the at the company that we were working for. I can't, American Music it was. Jimmy Bowen and I were writing, and we actually did turn around and look at me. They're on Crest Records. It came out of that, and that was my first. But I didn't want to go. I wouldn't go out on the road and play because I could make more money in town doing sessions. And finally, it paid off by waiting on television for Tommy Smothers. I had a hit, and Tommy Smothers saw me on the Joey Bishop show. That's how that all happened for me. And he said, I found my guy to host the Good Time, host the Plummer Brothers Mother show.
And you had the face of TV adored.
Yeah.
Let me just let a couple people in.
Okay. Come on in. Okay. I saw a taping of the Smothers Brothers show.
The what?
I saw a taping of the Smothers Brothers show. I was 10 years old.
Oh,
It
really?
was done at the CBS television studios right here in Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember that.
Well, I'll be
I'm
there.
trying to picture you because, like, I've been a journalist for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses gets off the bus in Hollywood 25 years after you get off the same bus, right?
That's
but
right.
The story is similar, isn't it?
It is.
You had to get out of the South. You wanted
Yeah.
to see the world.
Exactly. I wanted to move where I thought a friend of mine named Naylor. I can't think of his name. It was Naylor anyway.
Jerry.
Who?
Jerry?
Gary Naylor.
No, it's Jerry. Is it Jerry Naylor?
Do you remember Gary?
Jerry.
Jerry Naylor. Jerry Naylor. Anyway, I came out just to look around and see what it was like out here. And that's when I went in. Earl Palmer took me under his limb. And he kind of showed me around a little bit, in fact. Earl did. In fact, I stayed at his house one night. And it was just...
Where was his house? Hollywood Hills?
I don't remember.
Don't remember?
No, it wasn't Hollywood Hills. But it was incredible. That's all I wanted to do was play guitar and sing. And when I got to the guitar part, when I got to doing the sessions, it was just awesome. And I'd get like when we was still with the Beach Boys or Jan and Dean stuff, I'd sing harmony, and then I'd overdub some singing harmony with them. That was it. I loved it. But I could make more money as a star.
Yeah.
Tommy, they offered me more than the studios.
You and Brian Wilson, did you have an early connection? Did
Yeah.
you understand each other?
Mm-hmm. And he went. In fact, when I took over his space on the road, and he sat there and did the Pet set. He was writing the Pet Sounds album. But it was a lot of fun for me. I didn't like playing bass that much, because I had to play the bass and sing the high part, Little old lady from Pasadena. Dum, 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 dum. It was maddening for the first couple of gigs. The patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. But it was a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of adventurous things out on the road with music and learn music. I think I probably got more out of sessions than I did anything about chord progressions.
Because the wrecking
Writing.
crew guys never saw the road the way you did.
Mm.
They saw the studio.
Yeah. That's it. That is right. But boy, that was so much fun to get to play with the best musicians in the world. You had to really be on your toes. If it was a .8 notes, you better learn how to hit it real right on the head, or somebody will stop the session.
Cool. I think that's great. That was great.